Another episode of Trans World Live. We are here. We are ready to go. Holy cow. It is season 3. It is episode 9. And we are here live with you. Unfortunately, I am here alone tonight, taking on the reins. Nicole is on a flight back to New York. We got a chance to hang out with her this weekend as we're getting ready for Legendary Haunt Tour and Trans World, doing all types of amazing preparatory work just to make sure you get the world-class hospitality and service that you are used to. We also had a really cool run-in with a surprise guest from Tater and Paul Lanner from Haunters Against Hate. Holy cow, really awesome. Got to see a couple of haunted houses on their encore weekend, and obviously get to business because we've got all kinds of fun stuff to bring to you. Sean, what's going on? Welcome to the show. Appreciate you. So super excited. We are here. Trans World is February 2nd to 5th. We've been talking about it. It's crazy. It feels like it's right around the corner, right? We've got some breaking news for you. Some really important updates. First of all, for those that have been around for a while, we are returning to halls 1 through 5. That's a big thing that people have been requesting. So we wanted to make sure that you guys heard about it as very quickly as soon as we heard about it. This means that more buyers are going to be in your grasp from more markets, bringing in Christmas, bringing in the interactive entertainment. This is going to be the place to be there. So don't miss it. Don't miss out on your opportunity to get a booth. If you want to talk to somebody, of course you can talk to Jen, but Rich is actually taking all of that booth questions, anything you have about exhibiting. Give Rich a call or give him an email. I'm going to give you his phone number. It's 412-812-1773 or rich@haashow.com. Don't miss out on this opportunity. We're going back to those big halls. It's going to be the biggest Trans World ever. Now, speaking of huge things, this is the 12th year for the Legendary Haunt Tour, and we are only 3 days away. I can't believe it. I know Robert's backstage right now saying he can't believe it either. I don't think anybody can. And we have a very, very special show for you tonight where we are bringing the folks that are going to be bringing the entertainment to all of you this weekend. 4 amazing haunted attractions. There are still very limited tickets available. So if you're thinking about coming, if you've been looking at stuff saying, hey, I just got paid, I wasn't sure if I could afford this, we have very limited tickets. Don't miss out. I was just talking to Jen a few hours before the show, and she said, please let everybody know, like, we're not looking at like 20 tickets. We're looking at very small amounts. So please check those out. We're so excited that everybody is here. Thank you so much for being a part of this broadcast. If you are going to Legendary, let us know in the chat and let us know where you're coming from. We're coming from Chicago, so we're really excited and can't wait to see where everybody else is coming from. Nicole's obviously coming from New York. So as you know, we've been talking about it for the last 9 weeks. Legendary Haunt Tour is the opportunity to spend time with all of your peers going through world-class attractions and experiencing that Trans World world-class hospitality while being able to speak directly to some of the legends of the industry. And if you have a question, like Jen and I were just talking about this, you go through a room. How often are you able to go to the creator and say, hey, what was your thought process behind this? How did you do this? Teach me the magic. It's an outstanding educational opportunity, a networking opportunity, and one that you absolutely can't miss. So legendaryhaunttour.com. Very few tickets are still available. If you haven't decided yet, you need to. So let's get to some important details, especially if you are coming this weekend. We want to thank our sponsors. First of all, Granite Insurance and Fear Tickets. So graniteinsurance.com, fearticket.com. We want to thank both of them for sponsoring this event and making it even possible. We got to talk weather. We know that many parts of the country are starting to dip down in the temperature. And unfortunately, that's the case here in Nashville as well. So anybody that's from the northern part of the country and looking for maybe a slight little warm up, oh, I don't know if we're going to be able to give you some favorable news on that. So right now, the weather forecast is showing a high on Friday of 68 with a low of 33. That R word, only about 25%. Saturday, it dips down a little bit more, friends. 50, a high of 50 with a low of 28. So I think we're going to need to bundle up that R word down to 11. And then Sunday, as many of us will be getting out of town or moving on to the next place, 47 is the high and 26 is the low. And that rain, that R word, we're not going to say that word, it's down to 5%. So it doesn't seem like we're going to get many precipitation. Let's hopefully, fingers crossed, but it is going to be worth a bundle. So make sure you're doing that. I know we've gotten a chance to talk to and meet a lot of actors from around the country who are telling us they're going to come guest act, come support it. So we're really, really excited to see these amazing shows and how everybody just comes and embraces them. Here's a quick thing about the itinerary. It is listed online, legendaryhaunttour.com. Just click on the itinerary. Really, the important part so that everybody knows is we're going to be loading the buses on Friday the 11th at 4:15. We're then going to we're going to leave the hotel. We're going to go to Miller's Thrillers, and then we're going to Devil's Dungeon. And we're going to have some food, and it's going to be wonderful, and it's going to be a great show. Saturday, same type of situation. We're loading the buses about 4:30, so same time. So as we're just kind of like working through the plan, think about 4:15 every day on Friday and Saturday for loading. There we're going to start with Slaughterhouse, and then we're going to go to Nashville Nightmare, and we're going to have some food there as well. So we're really, really excited about all of that. Just wanted to give you the general overview. So like I mentioned, you didn't come to listen to me all night. Heck no, we've got 4 amazing people, and we're going to start off tonight with Patrick from Devil's Dungeon. Super excited to have him here. And I know the weather is much better in Nashville right now. So I know he's physically at the haunted attraction and he's working through everything. But we are having some small technical difficulties. So we are going to flip the script a little bit here and we're going to go to David Miller from Miller's Thrillers.
Yeah, boy. What's up, man?
What's going on, sir? How are you?
Not a lot. Happy to be here.
I'm so excited. You're coming to us from your front porch, so the weather has to be much better than it is up here.
Feeling good. Feeling good.
How was your season?
Man, it was a good season. You know, we're an outdoor haunt, so we cross our fingers to not get those drips from the sky. We got very fortunate this year. We're only open Fridays and Saturdays. Don't do any Thursdays or Sundays. So we got to get a full season in about 9 nights, and thankfully we opened all 9 nights, and we'll be going for number 10 this Friday.
Oh, that's fantastic. Seriously. We were just discussing, I think the year before COVID, so it was that 2019 or so. I feel like everybody especially in kind of that central part of the country lost like 10 or 12 operating nights because of the R word. So that's great to hear about that. How long have you guys been around? When did you guys first start?
Yeah, this is year 15 for us. We did 4 years in a different location. Had to tear down every single season. Didn't own the land. And so we finally decided to move out to some of my family property. My great-granddad bought our place in the 40s. And so it's kind of convenient to get some family land. It's off the beaten path a little bit. You'll feel like you're going in the middle of nowhere whenever you come down here. We're not really in Nashville. We're kind of on the outskirts. But last few years, we've been able to draw from Nashville some.
I love that. That kind of sets the entire mood and environment. And we have a couple of attractions that I'm used to going to, and I think just that journey alone gets you set up and gets you in the mood.
Yeah. Tell the drivers to be careful. We got some curvy roads on the way out.
Oh, I appreciate that. Obviously, I know it goes without saying, having a permanent location makes life so much easier. What have you learned, or over your 15 years of doing this, what have you seen yourself? Like, if you look at yourself 15 years ago, what things have changed for you and the way that you run your attraction.
Yeah, so we're always learning. It's super helpful to go to these conventions and other tours and whatnot to learn from other people. And I've really enjoyed going to Legendary Tour over the years and networking, and just learn how to treat it like a business and put extra time and love back into it, and to really take care of your people, take care of your customers, and enjoy the process as well.
Bravo on that. I think you hit it right on the head. Like, we've met with a number of haunted attraction owners, and if your people are happy, the customers will be happy, and that translates to the whole show.
Oh, yeah.
You obviously, Miller's Thrillers has received a lot of recognition, as with all 4 of the attractions on our tour. I think the biggest question that we always get, if we can ask you, is what's your secret sauce? And I think part of what you just said kind of fits into that, but is there anything else that you might be able to give a haunted attraction owner that might be just trying to figure out a way to make it all gel, to make it work? What advice would you give them?
Yeah, I would say, accept where you're at, challenge yourself to grow, but don't compare yourself to, the biggest ones in the industry. Of course, first time I went to some of those huge haunts, I came out depressed, as most of us can, but just accepting that, hey, I could get better from where I'm at, and don't get stagnant. Try to, put some love back into it every year. I would suggest that, but dream, but don't dream too big and feel disappointed if you don't get it all accomplished. Because I've had years like that in the past where, we dream bigger than the calendar allows, and then don't get it all taken care of, or get disappointed if we don't, accomplish all of our dreams. But yeah, I just give that some thought and plan properly.
That's really good advice. That's really good advice, actually. When you are working with your staff, one of the biggest questions that we always get is, first, how big of a staff do you have? How many seasonal, and then how many year-round?
Yeah, great question. So we only got a handful of year-round staff. Our main manager, creative artistic director is William Steed. He's here year-round, creating cool stuff, helping us build, helping us brainstorm, helping us plan. So big shout out to him. He's a great leader for us, and a great artistic person. And he's been with us, this will be his 3rd season on that, and he kind of helped take us to another level. Got another close friend named Eric Riley. He's worked with us for 5 years and helped us do a lot of set design. And then we've got one other guy named Ryan that helps us year round. So we've had different people come in throughout the years, maybe some guest builders, or come in for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, and they've really helped. So everybody puts their own creativity to it, and we're kind of a blender of that after all these years, which is kind of fun to see. People just add their little twists and turns and interpretations on it. So that's our year-round staff. As far as seasonal staff, we're up to 100 staff on our busy nights. Now that is counting parking, concessions, tickets, entertainers, actors, managers, hayride staff, security. So it's a lot to manage, but we got a good team, man. Really thankful for our paintball managers, good close friend Skeeter. Got to give him a shout out, a little love on here. And Cole and Nick, and it's just all about having good folks to help us.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I can't wait to meet your entire crew. You are getting some love on Facebook from an unknown user who has not logged in, who says he loves, or she, I'm not sure. They say, love your new hair. And can't
wait. Hey, man, I just got that done this week. If you look good, you feel good. You feel good, you do good. If you do good, they pay good. So you got to start off looking good. So yeah, I got my hair did. You guys can. And,
I love it. I love it. For this last season, I know you're at the tail end, and we kind of view this as like the extension, like that extra. We were just kind of talking pre-show with everybody about how, like, usually Halloween or maybe Encore weekend last weekend, it's like, we're done, and then we're not done.
Right.
How are you guys feeling? Like, how has your season gone? I know it's always exhausting, but Was it
Yeah.
a positive season, hopefully?
Yeah, we had a great season. Kind of judge success in different ways. It's not just about the numbers. You want to make sure your staff is happy, your customers are happy, and my stress level is the deciding factor. If all those take care of themselves, the numbers will take care of themselves. So we had good feedback from our customers, besides those few Karens out there complaining about the long lines. But that's going to happen.
Sure.
And our staff was happy. So definitely a successful year for us this year.
Well, the biggest question is obviously all of us are just excited, like Halloween is around the corner. What could you say to anybody that has never seen Miller's Thrillers, but is going to see them for the first time this weekend at Legendary Hunt Tour?
Yeah. We're going to feel like kind of a mom and pop type joint, not being in a big city. But I've learned over the years that some of those mom and pop type joints got some good creativity and can give you some things you've never seen before. And so we're going to do that. We've got 2 attractions. Our area was dug for phosphate mines back in the 60s. So there's some unique territory and terrain that you won't see at any other haunt. You can't buy this stuff at Transworld. But when they were digging for phosphate, they kind of left some of the staff behind after some of the accidents in the woods there, and everybody thought the past workers had moved away, but some of them stayed and made a settlement right here on this property. And it was some rough times, and definitely some rednecks and hillbillies out there, and so they kind of used whatever they could with the leftover mining materials and cabins and whatnot to kind of live out here. And so you're going to come out and witness what life is like after 70 years of backwoods living.
I love that. I did not know that. Now that makes me even more excited. If Nicole and I were here, we'd be kind of like talking about that, because that's awesome. That's the stuff. You're right. You can't buy that. That's the environment.
Right. And then we got our second attraction. That is our zombie paintball hayride. It's one of the first ones to start that with Greg Allen, kind of the founder of that. So I'm always thankful to him, and Rich kind of got on that train as well. And Rich supplied me with all our paintballs and paintball guns about 10 years ago, and we've been lighting up zombies in the face ever since. So I'm excited for some owners to get to come to do that, because I was actually on one of the Transworld events that I first experienced that, and had a ton of fun with the other owners, and thought if we had that much fun, I know our customers are going to like it. It is an operational nightmare. I get people every year trying to sell me their equipment, because it's very tough to put on. Sure. But I got a great team to help with that, and we've been able to fine tune every year kind of our operations to make that be a success. And I am really excited for these owners to come and do that, because very few tours have a chance to shoot those zombies and light them up. But we're going to be doing that. We're going to be blasting them this week.
I second your notion there, because we just in the Chicago market just received a new paintball shooting attraction like that, and the adrenaline and this is the immediate surge. You're just like, okay, cool, this is cool, and then you're just like, boom, boom, boom. It's awesome. It's light them up. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of folks are coming in from out of town. Do you have any recommendations for where they should spend a few of their hard-earned dollars? What are your favorite restaurants, anything you might recommend while someone's in the area to check out?
Right. Yeah, my biggest recommendation is going to be bring some extra cash for more paintballs. You're going to get trigger happy.
Yes.
You're going to be running out of ammo, so make sure to drop some dead presidents to refill on that. We're actually giving some extra paintballs for no cost, more so than our normal guests. But yeah, it's fun to see the downtown area and go to all the honky tonks and see all the bachelorette people riding around. I don't go to downtown too much anymore, but that's definitely worth seeing with all the neon lights, and it's pretty unique for Nashville. And yes, we do have shoes and electricity. Some people may think we're just all rednecks down here, but we are happy where we're at.
Having visited your amazing part of the country before, I couldn't agree more. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. I'm so excited to be there and to be there with all of you very soon. So we only have one more question for you.
Yeah.
And it's a big one here, but it's pretty important. I'm really building it up. But what is your favorite horror or haunted house or Halloween movie?
Yeah. This was pretty scary. Some people may not could handle it, but it's an old school one. It's called Ernest Scared Stupid.
Yes.
So that one's pretty funny. I always liked the Ernest movies growing up, so that one's a
I
favorite there. I'm not super into scary movies as much as some are. You'll see that in our haunt. Like we're not trying to be the scariest. We're not very gory. No devil demon references. We'll leave that to Patrick, Devil's Dungeon. But we're just about entertainment here. So we're gonna make your jaw hit the floor a few times and have some questions at the end for sure. But we don't want to spoil those just yet. But we'll give you a good time this Friday night.
I love it. I can't wait. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Thanks for taking the time to do this. And we can't wait to see everything that you've got this weekend. So thank you so much, David.
Sounds good, man. We'll see you soon, Chris.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Holy cow, that's awesome. We can do as much research and we can look at videos and we can look at pictures, but it really doesn't do it justice. I can't wait till we can see that in person. I didn't even know half of that stuff, and I'm sure half of you didn't either. So super excited. But the show goes on. So next up, we're really excited. I think his audio's working. We're going over to Devil's Dungeon, and we're going to be working and speaking with Patrick. So hopefully audio's working here. What's going on, sir? Hopefully. Maybe he can hear me. Maybe he can't. We can see him. That's okay. That's okay. Hopefully, fingers crossed. All right. Maybe we can't. That's okay. We'll come back with him. It was a good segue because David was throwing the gauntlet over there. So we're really excited about that. If Stacy, we're going to go with Stacy over at Slaughterhouse, if she's available. See what's going on, Stace. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. How are you doing?
Excellent. Getting ready to come into your neck of the woods here and just have an amazing weekend.
Yeah. I'm glad you guys chose Nashville for your destination for this year, and I think you guys will really enjoy it. I wish the weather was a little bit warmer, but Mother Nature.
You can exactly. They always want to play games with us. We were just talking about how I think it's like 70 by you guys right now, and you're going to have an entire dip down, cut that in half by this weekend. So I would imagine that's a little uncharacteristic for the Nashville area.
You honestly, like this time of year, you just never really know. I mean, sometimes it'll be 80 degrees like it was, a week ago, and then sometimes it'll be 50, and then, sometimes it'll be 30. But I mean, it's just kind of like if you don't like the weather in Tennessee, just wait till the next day. So it's kind of a treat.
I love that. Do you get, I don't want to stick on the weather here, but do you guys get a lot of snow, like a few days, or is it not really?
We do sometimes. Last January we got dumped. I think it was
okay,
over a foot of snow at least. It could have been close to 2 feet. I mean, it just came down, but it's not something that happens every year. But yeah, we do get snow.
Cool. Well, I'm excited because we are going to Slaughterhouse and we get to hang out with you and your entire crew. How has your season been?
It's been really good. It's it's super busy, but everybody had a really good time and good turnout, and we have really great cast and staff, crew. So just it's just been really good. Can't complain.
That's what you hope for. Obviously, not to put it back on the weather, but the weather held out, and I think it brought a whole drove of people. So that's awesome.
Yeah, being indoors helps a lot with that, but we didn't have much rain. I think we do Sunday nights starting in October, except for exception on this year. We had a wedding.
Oh,
we had 2 actors that met there, and they got engaged 2 years ago on Halloween night, and they got married this year. So
how awesome!
Yeah.
Is this the first couple that has met at your haunt?
No.
Okay, see, and I'm sure this is a similar situation with haunt owners all over the country. Obviously, lots of teams that are formed, so to speak.
Okay, so that we've had actually 2 couples since we've had it for 9 years now.
Okay,
Got met there and gotten married. So
how cool is that?
yeah, a little
So
romance.
you guys have owned it for 9 years. So how long has Slaughterhouse been out or
Thir-
around?
Slaughterhouse out for 36 years.
Holy wow!
We are
Oh,
the longest running haunted attraction in Nashville.
36 years.
My husband and I are the 3rd owners.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a pretty big deal, I think.
That's awesome to have that kind of staying power. You know, we always want to ask kind of like we call it our secret sauce question, but certainly to have that kind of longevity. And I know you've obviously been at the caretaker reins here for the last 9 years. What have you found makes everything work?
You just have to really put your heart and soul into it, and you have to treat people the way you want to be treated. And I think that's a very big thing. That's why, we don't have a high turnover rate. We have people that stay with us. I mean, there's a guy that's been with Slaughterhouse for 32 years. He's my
Holy
right
cow.
hand, and his name is Daryl Kraft, and he's been with Slaughterhouse for 32 years. So
Will we get a chance to meet Daryl this weekend?
yes, you will. Daryl, yes, he will, with bells on.
Super excited. Super. So how many staff do you have for your seasonal staff? Like how many would you say all total? And then how many year-round staff?
There's about 65 of us
Okay.
for the season, and then for just the year-round staff, there's maybe like 3 or 4 of us.
Okay.
Yeah, we do a lot in the summer, spring and summer. We start usually when we start hearing the birds chirp and the flowers. Like, okay, it's time because it's unthawing in there. Because we are in an old movie theater.
Oh, okay.
1,000 square feet. It was a Regal Cinema at one time. I used to go there back in the 90s, but it's the first half of it is we have the AC, we have the heat and everything, but the back we don't. So
Okay.
it's cold or really hot, and maybe like 3 months of it's perfect in there. So
Awesome.
but it did sit empty for 13 years.
Perfect for patina.
Yeah, years, and it's really haunted, like
Oh.
super haunted. There's so much history behind all of it, but it's actually built over 3 family cemeteries. We just found this out 2 years ago. So
Holy cow.
yeah, it was like, oh well, that makes a lot of sense. So, but yeah, a lot of the actors get a lot of boost and a lot of help from our little friendly ghost. Some of them, not so.
Absolutely. And you don't have to slip them like pizza at the end of the night. So that's okay. That's
No, don't have one more check for them.
that's
But
really cool.
yeah, and like we still have all the slanted floors from like when it was a movie theater, so that really works in our favor as well. Like it kind of is that whole effect and everything. But you guys are gonna enjoy it. It's really fun. And we have a functional movie theater.
Okay.
We convert it whenever we do dinner and a movie on the weekends.
Oh.
But we're, when you guys are going through, we're going to have popcorn and water for you guys. And, if you guys want to purchase beer, we do have beer. But we have sodas, whatever you guys, would like. And you're more than welcome to. But, yeah, you'll get to check that out as well.
I'm beyond excited. I'm excited that it is an old movie theater because you get to, haunt owners are always building within their environments. So they kind of embrace where they're at and take those physical attributes and incorporate them into the haunted house. And so it's so great that those slanted floors are a part of that, and you can work that in and we can get the popcorn to match that. So that's really cool. Have you been a part or have you attended a Legendary Haunt Tour in the past?
I have not.
Okay.
Would definitely like to do that at some point. you know. I think that
No,
the haunt season just gets you and you're like, oh my gosh, where did the time go, you know?
when you first told your staff that you guys were going to be a part of Legendary Haunt Tour, what was their reaction? Like
Oh,
to kind of get that, yeah.
yeah, they've been messaging me all week, like, what should I do? What should I wear? Should I? I'm like, gosh, you know, just be yourself, be your character. So, you know, they're absolutely enthralled in it. They love what they do. You can tell the actors are such amazing actors. I can't even go into put into words what great actors they are. You know, that's one of the big things that I push for as a haunt owner, because I worked for Slaughterhouse as an actress when it was down
Oh,
previous owner.
yeah.
So I feel like it's a big deal for your characters to really stand out and to really be good at what they do and feel comfortable with what they do. And I think you guys will be really happy with the turnout of their performances. So
I'm I get excited, and I know that a lot of the folks here, they love to look at beautiful stuff, but the actors are like everything, you know. So to be able to see somebody who you know is like oozing passion and love for their craft, it's just that's amazing to experience any performance like that, whether it's a theater or a stage or a haunted attraction. So super excited to see your
yeah,
folks.
I'm excited for you guys. More than, you know, for you guys to see them and then be showcased than more than anything, because they've worked their butts off and they deserve, you know, credit where credit is due. So
Well, for anybody that has not had an opportunity to see Slaughterhouse in any of those years, and this might be their first time, like it is for me, besides that movie theater, is that what else could they look forward to? Like help set it up, get people excited. What kind of scenes are they going to see? What kind of actors? Like what kind of show do you guys have?
we actually, it's a mixture because it's an 8 theater. So we actually use 6 of the theaters for the whole part of the Slaughterhouse. So
Okay.
each themed, like a religion theme, a
Hmm.
movie theme, you know, like a phobia theme. You know, so it's there's so many different elements, and then of course we have the Slaughterhouse, so where things do get gory and crazy and
You can't have a non-gory slaughter.
right. Name like Slaughter
Exactly.
can't just not be gory, yeah, for
Oh
sure.
my God. Well, I'm so excited to see the attraction and to see all of your amazing actors and actresses. For those that are going to get a couple of minutes in Nashville or around the area, maybe they've never visited, or maybe they have and they just need a local's perspective. Are there any places, food, or sights to see, or anything that you might recommend that people catch while they're in town?
You know, I don't really get out too much, but we
Okay.
do, like we put on a convention as well, Full Moon Tattoo and Horror Fest. So a
Yes.
lot there's like Bill Mosley, Sid Haig, a lot of these people that we've had come in for years who've become personal friends of ours.
Yeah.
They're always like, okay, I want barbecue. So there's so many great barbecue places in Nashville, and it's kind of they're known for hot chicken and barbecue. So whatever you do, like just make sure you get your barbecue on.
I think that's fantastic advice. Now, I have like these canned personal questions that we always try to end with, but like I'm going to change one because I think it's so cool that you actually worked for the attraction for a number of years before you guys bought it. Why? That's the biggest thing. Obviously, we're all in it because of the love, and that might be the simplest of answers. But to be able to put all of that money and investment into one of these amazing crafts, what drives you? What makes you love Halloween and haunted houses so much?
I just started. I was that way like as long as I can remember. Like 4 years old, my father had really got me into horror films, so I was watching horror films before I even went to kindergarten and going to the VHS store and getting them. And I always loved Halloween because the way it made me feel. I'd always dress up, win costume contests. So I decided, you know, in the early 2000s that I wanted to go to special effects makeup school. So I ended up going to Thomas Savini Special Effects Makeup School outside of Pittsburgh, PA.
Sure.
And you know, it was just a life-changing experience. I came back, was trying to find a makeup job. It was really hard here in Nashville. But I ended up at Slaughterhouse, which they didn't have makeup artists at the time. This is early
Okay.
stuff. So, but I got on, their cast. Trevor's like, well, I make you the extra. Like, oh, okay. And, but it's always been, in my blood and my husband's blood. Like we've made several horror films.
Oh,
Where you can get on Netflix, and so we've been in this industry. That's actually how we met. Was he needed a makeup artist for special effects, and someone was like, "Oh, you should check out this girl who came from Savini School." So, and it's just
it's like a match. I mean, that's so cool. We love stories like that, and it's so awesome to be able to see some of that magic that brings all of the people together at your attraction. We have some love coming from Facebook here. We have one comment that says, one of Tom's kids from Keith. So much love for Tom Savini.
Oh yeah, he's a well-respected.
We do have a question, and we always love to keep it interactive. The question is about your costumes. Do your actors own their own costumes, or do you guys provide them?
It's a mixture of both. There are several actors that create their own characters, and like I said, it's very important for them to shine and feel comfortable in what they're doing. So a lot of times I'll take a scene and then, kind of work it around the actors, kind of like, they're, look, I've got this character, it's you've got to see it. So I'm like, okay. So there's that aspect of it where some people just create their own character. And then there's times where there's scenes where people are, I'll get their costumes for them, and kind of, help them with it, because they're not, either they're just, getting into the business and they just don't quite understand and they're learning, or they just, sometimes people are down on their luck and, things of that nature. But there's a mixture of both, of course. So.
Very cool. Very cool. We love to try and keep it interactive. And when we get a question like that, it's great to be able to throw that in there. And if you want the opportunity to come and ask any questions of Stacy, of the entire Slaughterhouse, to see this amazing, amazing attraction, check us out this weekend. Legendary Haunt Tour, your last opportunity, at least this season. Just want to thank you, Stacy, for giving us all of your time, and super excited to come see you this weekend.
Thank you so much, and I'm excited about meeting everyone, and I hope you all have fun, and let me know what you think when you're done.
Can't wait. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Holy cow, another amazing attraction. Super excited. This weekend, we were already getting excited, and now it's just through the roof. So let's see if we can blow that roof even more up. Maybe things are working technically wise for Patrick and Devil's Dungeon. Maybe, fingers crossed.
They are.
They are. What's up, man? How are you? What's going on?
I'm just trying to get this camera to work so I can actually have a quick interview in between working on the haunted house.
Well, we appreciate you doing that. Thank you so much for all of your patience and working out all the technical issues and stuff like that. I know you're coming to us straight from inside the belly of the beast.
That's correct. I try to take a quick, 30-minute lunch break, come talk to y'all, and then go back to work to make sure it's ready for this Friday.
We joke a lot here that, like, what our normal consumers don't know is that, like, that paint on the walls is not dry, or it's just drying like 5 minutes before those people are coming through. So you were just open for an entire season, and like all of us, you are still perfecting and making your art even better for all this amazing people that are going to come this weekend. So thank you.
Of course. Like, when we have thousands of people come through this season, and the haunted house takes a beating just like everyone else's does. So to try to get the show back on par for this tour, it's definitely been a hell of a week trying to get ready, but we'll be there.
I just asked Stacy this question, but I think it's really exciting when you have an attraction like Devil's Dungeon. Like, what did your staff and your crew, when you guys found out that you're going to be a part of this, what was the reaction?
Oh, they were ecstatic. I had to, of course, explain it to them because a lot of them never heard of it. Once they realized that there was haunters and makeup artists, actors, everyone from around the country coming through our attraction, as well as everyone else's in Nashville, they were just lit up and ready for the season to be over and that to happen.
That's so awesome. And we've obviously, I'm sure it's no different with yours. You guys go through an incredibly trying run. You're trying to make sure all of these customers are taken care of, and you're giving them the best show. And you have that false sense of like ending, like last weekend or maybe Halloween, whatever your last operating day. It's like, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, we're not done yet. But it seems like maybe that's not as stifling. Like people are more excited now.
And that's what, when we got through with Halloween night, it was kind of like, congratulations, we made it through the season, which we were open last weekend as well.
Sure.
When we finished this past Saturday, we knew that the general public was done. They felt very satisfied with the season. We did a real good numbers this year. But once we got through the excitement of finishing the season, it was like, okay, now who's coming down to help get ready for this coming Friday tour?
It is so awesome to see that passion, not only from our side of the fence, but from your side as well. And people get so excited. For the past 9 weeks and for the past 12 years, we've been talking about Legendary Haunt Tour and how some of the industry legends from all the coasts and even across seas come to be a part of this and see, all of these amazing events. For Devil's Dungeon, how long have you guys been around? When did you guys start?
So Devil's Dungeon was started in 2000. This was our 23rd season. We've been in business doing haunted houses since 1996. Before Devil's Dungeon, we had an old prison that was just outside of downtown Nashville called Death Row.
Okay.
We were there for 4 years. We separated from that place, started Devil's Dungeon. We bought this location. The funny story about this building, there's actually 30 loft apartments above me.
Holy cow.
It was built about 100 years ago as a cotton warehouse. There was a rail spur out front and the Cumberland River out back. So the building generates money year round, but luckily the tenants that live here are gracious enough to let me operate the 20 or so days out of the year because they can definitely hear it upstairs.
How cool. Like we are getting, just as a cumulative tour here, we now have 3 absolutely unique locations. And now you have people that live there year round that might not be as excited and are tolerant of those 20 days. So
yeah, a lot of them, of course, there's musicians and bartenders and different people that live here. It's a very eclectic group. A lot of them have balconies out back that they sit out there once they get off work and just watch people running from the different actors, chainsaw and so on. And it's more of like an evening party for them as they're sitting there drinking and throwing beads or candy down to people. And they really get into it. They know it's coming. They know it's here. No matter what, they got to have fun with it because for the past, like I said, 23 years, it's been a part of this building and the building's history.
I love that. Again, Nicole and I joke, if you've ever watched the show, we kind of go back and forth all the time about, like we always seem to have that bar raised every time. And just when we thought we were going to be that excited, like I'm excited to just see that entire scene. That is awesome. You've just been through this amazing season. Your staff has got to be exhausted. I'm sure there was a speech in there of like, hey, rest up for these 4 days because we got work to do type of thing. But you guys have been around for 23 years. People know your name a lot of, all over the place. What is your secret sauce? How do you continue to produce this amazing show?
I think a big part of it is definitely owning the location and having a second source of income year round really helps. It helps fund the project each year. There's probably 5 or 6 of us that work on it year round.
Okay.
And in the off season, you would never even know the haunted house exists. Like when we tear the facade off, get rid of everything, it's just a nice, clean, beautiful apartment complex. Once we start setting up for the year, all the big monsters come out, the entrance gets built, like then suddenly all the neighbors, everyone who lives in the East Nashville area or traveling to downtown, they know it's that time of year again because Devil's Dungeon's back.
Heck yeah. You just mentioned your year-round staff. How many staff members do you have during a normal season?
Normal season, we usually average around 40 to 42.
Okay.
And of course, we have some added security, the gift shop stuff that work,
sure.
But aren't part of our cast. But we try to keep every scene fairly full. In this building, it's around an 85,000 square foot building. We occupy about 30,000.
Still, wow.
So it's a good little walkthrough. I definitely think for the value and for the show we put on, people definitely get their money's worth.
Oh my gosh, that's huge. Serious. I mean, how we all know of haunted attractions that don't have the ability to have that kind of a footprint. So that's awesome to be able to have that kind of a playground.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited. We know that you've been around. So like for any of the haunted attractions that might need a little bit of advice, first, can we talk about COVID for a second? How did COVID impact you guys for, 2020, 2021? You don't have to give numbers or anything like that, but what was your experience, through that?
So expecting, we actually kind of dropped some of our advertising budgets, thinking that with everything going on, the public wouldn't be out as much. Us being just 5 minutes from downtown, all of Nashville, as well as many other cities, was basically closed down. So there was no bars, no events, no concerts to go to. So our attendance was actually up COVID 2022 with minimal advertising, which was very surprising. Hindsight, I should have spent more. And then in 2021, it stayed about the same. We noticed people were still getting out. That was good. This year, we're back to normal. I wouldn't say it really climbed. Everything set about average this year, but honestly, for 2020, we were thoroughly surprised with how many people were getting out because, we were all tired of being cooped up. We did have to go through, which I'm sure many other states did, the health inspectors. We had all kinds of talks and walkthroughs to make sure that we could keep adequate distance, temperature checks. We were limited on attendance. Of course, we might have pushed that a little bit because we definitely don't want to turn people away. But we made it through it, and luckily our staff and cast both stayed healthy. We completed all of our season, no big hiccups. It was definitely a learning experience, and some things like time ticketing or specific night ticketing that a lot of other haunts implemented, of course, some of that stuck with us. So it was definitely a learning curve.
That's really, really good advice. Or kind of good, good feedback on it. We always talk about how we're always learning every day. And so
of course,
having everybody's different input from all across the country, from different style attractions and what they did to overcome things is always important. What have you done now that things have, normalized or stabilized, or, hopefully we're working through, what have you done to perfect your show since then? If there's been any steps that you've taken?
So as far as perfecting our show, which this had nothing to do with COVID, at one time we had 4 major attractions in Middle Tennessee.
Okay.
Because we also own some different real estate around Middle Tennessee. It worked out really well for us. We found out with normal year-round construction work that we do and trying to run 4 attractions, it was almost impossible to have enough good help that you trusted.
Sure.
So some of the attractions got closed down. With that, all the animations, a bunch of the greatest characters, the props, they came over here. So we filled Devil's Dungeon to the brim, going from, like I said, in like a 5-year period, going from 4 attractions back down to 1. Sure. We found better use for those properties as far as rental space, retail space. And it just made this show, honestly, not just talking it up for the tour, but it made it the best it's ever been because we took all the best parts, combined them into the one location, and then sold off all the extra,
That makes me so excited. I've not been to Devil's Dungeon, and I'm sure a lot of the folks on this tour haven't. If you could say anything to get them all excited and me excited, like I'm not already, what would you say to anybody that hasn't experienced and is about to for the first time this weekend?
I think like David Miller hit on, he is a great family event. We love to go for a little bit more of an extreme show, of course, keeping it all ages, but we've definitely been known to make the news every couple of years for someone having a complaint, whether it be based on religious views or we should be 18 and up and so on. Pushing the envelope is something that I've loved doing for years. With this being, like I said, our 26th year of doing haunted houses, I kind of grew up in the industry, learned from a lot of people around the industry, whether it be my family or people in Nashville, even people around the country that I've met at Transworld for the last 15 years. So with that, it's definitely grown us into the kind of the most extreme show we can be without pushing the limits so far that we have to sign waivers and be 18 and up. And so I think people coming through this Friday will definitely see that it's a show with plenty of new technology and animation, but yet more of a hometown haunt that is super exciting, super thrilling, and they're definitely gonna get some good scares.
I don't think I could say it any better. That's awesome. I'm like giddy. Like Like, let's open up the present, Mom. Come on, let's go. Like, let's do this. That's so awesome. I'm beyond excited. I know our viewers are beyond excited. We've heard nothing but good stuff. You've been a Nashville native for a long time. Could you give any recommendations to anybody that might want to spend a couple of their hard-earned bucks around town? Where would you recommend?
For instance, right down the street, whenever you're finished with our tour on Friday night, there is some indoor go-karting that's really fun. They've got a bar, they've got some stuff to do. It's within walking distance. Of course, but us being the closest to downtown of all the haunts on the tour, everyone hears about the downtown Broadway, 2nd Avenue nightlife. It's definitely fun. I don't get out a lot either, just like Stacy said. But if you do enjoy going out to a bar, drinking, checking out the atmosphere, Nashville definitely brings it when it comes to the weekend party atmosphere. So between here and the hotel, there's so much to do. And I think people will definitely find plenty of alcohol and parties to go to.
I'm so excited to hear that. Thank you so much. Now, we always end with a personal question, and we try to vary it up just based on everything that we're doing. You obviously love Halloween and have been in the game a very, very long time. Do you have any personal or family, or maybe with your cast or crew, do you have any Halloween traditions that you could share with us?
As far as traditions, that's a tough one. I know typically when we get towards the end of the season, as far as for our cast and stuff, a lot of times I'll do the final walkthrough of the night, closing the place down. And each year it may entail something different, whether I'm riding a motorcycle through the haunted house or coming through with a big sound system, blaring music, just something to kind of signify that, hey, the season's over. That's just a fun part that we've always kind of done. Just the cast hears us coming through on that final night with something totally different. They get really excited about. For a whole season, one thing we used to do a lot of that we don't anymore, we would initiate people into the family. I can't give details of that, but just as far as initiation, you can only assume that it might be a little grueling or enticing. And with that final thing, some I've started 4 or 5 years ago. I have, I think, 8 or 9 cast members, including myself, that all have a different style of tattoo to Devil's Dungeon. So I've got Devil's Dungeon tattooed on my back. People have it on their leg, on their arm, their chest. Like that's something that if you make it through the whole season and you're itching for a new tattoo, I always fork up the money if you would like to get a Devil's Dungeon. So that means you're part of the family for life now.
How awesome. Now that is the best Halloween tradition story. That's awesome.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Do you have just one more minute here? We do have a couple of questions, if you don't mind.
Okay.
First, Keith, forgive me, I can't read. My eyes are going bad. Keith asked, for the tenants that live above the haunted house, do they get in for free?
They do, actually. That's something that we've had going for many years. A lot of them I know personally. Of course, there's that exchange rate where there is new people that I haven't met over the last year, but it's kind of an ongoing thing that they know that they have to deal with it all year. So sure enough, when they decide they would like to come, they just pop down to the front door. They holler at one of my staff, say they live here, and we'll definitely let them and their friends in for free.
That's way cool. It's like, thanks for your tolerance and your patience. Yep. We love you. Keep coming back, please. Do you, for your facade, Keith also had a follow-up question. For your facade that you take down, do you ever change that every year, or is it the same one just kind of enhanced every year, or is it a new one?
We definitely change it. For the last few years, it was the same one, just kind of enhanced each year. I've been buying some new, larger Scare Factory Unit 70 distortion stuff to kind of place out front with it. But the building, like I said, in the off season, you'd never know even existed. Cool. The entrance is about 4 foot off the ground is our deck height. So we have to build either a ramp or use like a shipping container, just different ways to get people up to that level and still be ADA compliant. This year, being 2 years ago, we closed down another haunted house, which was Haunted Town Nashville. Not to get into too many details, so you don't know until you get here, but there was some big animations out front of that attraction that we ended up putting into this one. So I think it definitely provides some great entertainment while everyone's waiting outside.
I cannot wait. Like the plate, my whistle was already wet. Like
I don't want to talk it up too much. You might get here and go, wow, this is it.
I know that we had technical problems, and I know that you are literally still working at the attraction. The attraction is in your background. thank you so much for taking time, a lot of time actually, to be a part of this. We can't wait to see you in person this weekend. Thank you for everything. Is there anything you'd like to share?
I think that's about it. I'm just greatly appreciative that they decided to choose Nashville for the tour this year. I think we really put together a good show knowing that it was coming. And I'm just excited to showcase it to our peers in the industry.
I know that they can't wait. I know I can't wait. And we'll see you soon. Thank you so much for being here, and see you this weekend.
Thank you, sir.
Wow. Okay, so that's 3. Like, Nicole and I would be gushing if she were here. She hopefully is landing, seeing this, going, yes, Chris, I'm gushing. There's more. I can't believe it. We have 3 incredibly unique locations, 3 incredibly amazing people, but we're not done. We've got a 4th. We've got a 4th amazing person. What's really awesome is we actually did a behind the scenes with this exact person at this exact attraction before earlier in the season. So happy to have him back so that we can ask a few more questions as we get ready for this weekend. Help me reintroduce and re-welcome in Mr. Logan Sharp from Nashville Nightmare. How are you, sir?
Doing great.
The beard is looking amazing.
I don't feel like it is, but I appreciate it.
How was your season? You guys have been running ragged, like just trying to make it all work and putting on the best show possible for all your people. How was your season?
We had a really good season. The weather held out, like David said. I mean, we really had maybe a couple of nights of the R word, and but even with that, I mean, we had a lot of people who came out. The responses were great. Guests really had a good time. We did a lot of upgrades to the show itself and to the outside midway, getting prepared for the season, but honestly for Legendary at the same time. So I think those enhancements really kind of set us to a new level that we've been trying to get to for a while. And the guests really just, enjoyed it. They enjoyed the experience. We tried some new things this year with the inside, with some of our actors and some techniques that we've been working on for the past couple months. And it really just kind of stuck, and guests just loved it. The feedback online was good. Feedback when they were going into retail was good. So all in all, we saw really good numbers.
That's fantastic to hear. Obviously, that's the most important thing, is to make sure that your shows are continuing to be successful so you can continue to be here for years and years. How long has Nashville Nightmare been here?
Yeah, so Nashville Nightmare has been around for 12 years strong. We've been in the same location all 12 years. In Madison, we're in this old Madison shopping center.
Okay.
We're in the bottom of it, in the basement, which I think one side of it used to be like a club or something, which there's some crazy stories that go on with that club from my boss and some other people that know about it. So, but we're a pretty big location too. I mean, we're probably over 70 to 75,000 square feet of space inside, but then we have a really monster midway too. So,
for those that haven't checked it out, please go take a look on their website or go take a look at the previous episode. I think we filmed like 45 minutes of behind the scenes with Logan, and that wasn't even like scratching the surface. I mean, it's a monster. It's so excited. I think that got everybody moving to be a part of this tour, to be able to come in, to be able to check it out. Robert's going to end up putting that link into the chat right now so that you can check that out. I know we briefly talked about it, but since you've just completed the season, how many staff did you have? Because people like those numbers, so.
Yeah. So I've got, we have 2 full-time people that work here on the property, along with Brad Webb,
Sure.
who jumps in every so often when he can. But then we have a bunch, probably about 5 part-time people that come in and help us here and there with miscellaneous projects. And some of the bigger sets, we have a great fabricator that comes in and does a lot of the big sets that you guys are going to see, a lot of the huge animations. But then for our staff for the season, we had about 60 to 75 actors for inside the attractions, and then approximately about 30 to 35 outside event staff. And then, I've got probably about 10 to 12 icon characters that are outside. I also have, 15 to 20 people that are in some type of leadership position to make sure the chaos doesn't erupt on a night that we're open. So I mean, my staff is pretty big. It kind of ranges anywhere between 150 to 160 people on any given night. So and sometimes if we're lucky and it's a good night, all of them show up. So
obviously, you guys are a part of a huge network. The 13th Floor Entertainment Group is just legendary. I mean, in itself, not to use that word again, but to be able to have the resources to bring to Nashville, to put on just this epic show. I have something that I didn't prep you on, so I hope but I am getting rumors here from some friends of ours that maybe some support from other attractions in the network here, from Michael Faust and Danny Panic, that the Gourd King is coming to town. I don't know if you guys could see that image there. I didn't even want to give it to Robert because I think that's awesome. How that's exciting, like people bringing new characters right for Legendary Haunt Tour.
Yeah, I always wanted to go to Legendary ever since I got into the business, and I got the opportunity to go down and help New Orleans Nightmare last year. Sure. And got to experience all the different attractions at the same time. And it kind of opened my eyes, especially with the vast network we have with 13th Floor. So when we found out we were going to be one of the host attractions for it, we started reaching out to some of our local attractions that are not too terribly far. So, people are going to get to experience some of the actors from 13th Floor Jacksonville. Also New Orleans Nightmare, some of their actors are going to be coming up. And then we have a couple people that are going to be coming down from Chicago. We also have Michael Faust. As you can't see my picture of Faust in the background, he's always watching over. But he's sitting in costumes. So we have a lot that's going to be in store with the amazing crew that we already have. But also, we have a bunch of people that are going to be coming in to help just to kind of enhance the show even more.
I think that said perfectly. Like, you already have a top-notch, amazing show, and to be able to just put more icing on the cake. Like, you already have amazing icing, but to put more icing, who doesn't love more cake? So that's so awesome.
I do. I definitely do.
Oh my gosh, so excited. Well, obviously we have tons to talk about and tons to experience when we come there. For anyone that has not seen Nashville Nightmare and has not run through everything, I was just looking at the map before the show. Like, it's an insane midway and it's an insane property. What can people expect?
Yeah, I think you guys are going to experience, I think Nashville Nightmare is something unique. It's something different than what your usual bigger attractions are. We are a little bit of everything. We have 4 different attractions that guests are going to get to walk through. First one's going to be Vector Research, which is a brand new attraction that we brought in this year. Okay. I'm not going to give too much away because I think it's like the way that it looks and the backstory behind it. I think everyone's going to get it right away. But then we have Horror High, which is it's a take on kind of a old Trick or Treat Wise Tale that this charity group had kind of held this is holding this party inside the abandoned high school, but then they don't realize that the undead trick-or-treaters from the past have kind of risen and have caused all this chaos. So all the undead trick-or-treaters are running through. Then you're going to get to experience Cursed, and Cursed is it's one of our more, like, I call it whimsical, but it's also that one that has a lot of the things that you're going to look at and go, oh, wow, how did they do that? Or, ooh, wow, that's beautiful. But also when you add the actors, it's like you're going to walk through a castle. You're going to walk through a swamp / there's a ghost boat that's out there, a wolf cave, you name it, it's there. And then at the end of it, you're going to get to go through a pirate ship. And I'm not going to give that away because it's a pretty cool ending. And then I call it the main attraction, which is the longest attraction we have, which is about a 20 to 25 minute walkthrough.
Oh, wow.
And it's called Midnight Mortuary, which we kind of go on the, we go through the process of possession through that attraction. So you're going to get to see that process as you're going through when you get introduced to the caretaker, but then the caretaker's not really telling you the entire story of what's going on.
Ooh,
so you kind of find out that you're a part of that when you get to the end of it. But then that's not it. We also have, our Outcast Carnival, which everybody's going to get to experience, which is our upcharge attraction. It's crazy chainsaw clowns that are pretty much, been there forever. It's been a debunked carnival that's been sitting around, and these clowns have just been waiting for guests to come back, and they have finally. But then you also have, our 5-minute escape games, our Egyptian laser maze. We also will have our bar that's going to be open. We have our photo opportunities that will be open. We have the icon characters that will be outside entertaining the guests. So it's a lot of different things. Also, you guys are going to get to experience the axe range that's upstairs, and you're going to get some good food too. So, I mean, there's a lot for everybody to experience. But, I think what kind of sets us a little different is we're actor driven. Our actors put their heart and souls into it, and they really kind of set the tone of what the show is going to be. And this year they really adapted to what we were wanting to be, which was more intense. And I think it really helped with the success we had this year.
That speaks volumes. And again, perfectly said. I know that when we first saw your walkthrough, and we didn't get that opportunity from the other 3 attractions, which can't wait. I mean, they're insanely awesome. But we did get a chance to kind of, tempt us a little bit when you did that amazing walkthrough. And those scenes, I mean, they're nothing short of a movie set. I mean, they're just glorious. So I can't wait to see them fully functional, staffed with people and going crazy. Okay, so we have to ask, so you had mentioned great food, and we are going to be serving that world famous Hattie B's chicken. For anybody, and I have had the opportunity, but for anybody that has not had specifically Hattie B's Nashville hot chicken, what are they in for?
Well, there's always been a big debate here in Nashville who has the true hot chicken, and it's always between 3 places: Prince's, Hattie B's, and Party Foul. Hattie B's is good. I'm not gonna lie. Hattie B's is, and I think they're the original, but Prince's, I believe, is the original. But I like Party Foul. But if you like heat, I'm not a big heat person though. So, if you like heat, you're gonna enjoy the chicken, because Hattie B's has some great chicken, but their sides are also really good. They got probably some of the best mac and cheese I think I've ever had. So it's just going to be some good, wholesome food, but it's going to be on that kind of hot and spicy side. But, for those ones that don't like hot food, I believe we're going to have some options that are going to be that mild, and also just that kind of southern fried that's naked, doesn't have any sauce on it. So a little bit of something for everybody.
You are 100% correct, and thank you for saying that, because for anyone that doesn't like heat, there are going to be some some more milder levels. And he literally took the words out of my mouth. There's pimento mac and cheese. That's awesome. I'm drooling already. Jeez, holy cow. Southern greens. We got bread, dipping sauces, red skin potato salad, sweet and unsweet tea, lemonade. It's a feast. It's a feast, and we are getting to see your amazing attraction. I got to ask you the personal questions. Obviously, you have a love of Halloween. Do you have a personal favorite haunted house that you have been to anywhere? It might not even exist anymore, but like, when you think about inspiration for yourself, I think every haunt owner, kind of goes, I remember when I went through this house that I went through at 16, or, whatever. What is that for you?
Yeah. So my brother, he was born on Halloween. And so he took me to my first haunted house when I was 10. I'm originally from South Carolina, and I will never forget this experience because it blew my mind. It was called Blood Moon on the River at Saluda Shoals Park in Lexington, South Carolina. And it blew my mind because, one, I was 10 and my mind wasn't all developed, but I always will remember the first scene I walked through was indoor-outdoor attraction. And it was, they started you outside, and they had this graveyard, and they dug the grave down, old school. They had fog billowing out, and they had a guy run out with a chainsaw. And at that moment, my jaw dropped, and I really became in love with that whole process of, wow, the entertainment value of it. Like, I just got scared by this guy. And it's just, that's kind of where my love of the haunted houses. And I just started going with them to more and more. And then, I'm not going to, it's going to sound real campy when I say this, but when I moved here to Nashville, Nashville Nightmare was one of the first ones I went to. And I was just in awe with the production value of it. And it was one of my favorite ones that I've really ever been through because of how well it was ran, but what the production value was and the entertainment value was. And, you know, and that's really kind of what drove me to say, hey, I'm going to go work for that place one day. And luckily it eventually happened. So
it's a perfect story, and I'm so excited because obviously it's your life's passion, and as it is with every haunt owner and producer and manager and actor. We're here because we love it, and I'm so excited to see all of the works and the fruits of your passion and Brad's and your entire team there. Thank you so much for being a part of this, for hanging on, for giving us so much time when we did the behind the scenes tour, and tonight. I cannot wait for all of this to come to fruition and to be able to see all of this, and especially for my first time, to be able to see all 4 of these amazing attractions, especially Nashville Nightmare.
Absolutely. I mean, I'll just end with, like, you know, all the other attractions, they're phenomenal attractions too. They're all different in their own ways. And I think everybody, when they come for Legendary, they're going to be in for a good treat. You guys are going to be entertained. The moment you get off the bus on Friday night to the moment you get back on, and then come and see all the ones that are on Saturday night. So you're in for a good treat.
Perfectly said, sir. Thank you so much for being here, and we will all see him very soon with safe travels. We'll see you soon. All right, sir. See you. Holy cow. I can't say it better than he did. There are 4 distinctively different, awesome attractions that are going to give us all types of entertainment from all sides of the equation here. I'm so excited to see it. I'm so excited to be joining all of you. I know Nicole is. I know Jen and Rich are. I know Robert is. We're so excited. Thank you so much for joining us and being a part of this adventure. We will be joining you this weekend live from Nashville. So if you're not able to join us, tears. If you're not able to join us, just stay tuned to Facebook, and we will make sure that we literally bring you all that coverage so that you can drool from home and make sure that you're a part of Legendary Haunt Tour in the future. Keith, I agree. I love this job. I miss Nicole, but I love being able to meet all of you, all of these amazing haunt owners, and to be able to bring all of this passion and this dedication, and all of these amazing products to you. So super excited. We will see you this Friday and Saturday from Nashville. So stay tuned to that. Hopefully we'll meet you in person. Most importantly, this is our last episode before Thanksgiving. So we wanted to say thank you for everything. Thank you for watching. Happy Thanksgiving from our Transworld family to yours. And we will be back on Tuesday, November 29th. I mentioned about how Nicole and Jen and I were meeting this weekend, mainly for a different reason, but it was an excuse since they were in town. And we are going to be with you every Tuesday as we start the road to Transworld on November 29th. So please join us there. And until then, we will see you in Nashville this weekend. Stay safe.